It's been 3 days since the verdict was given by the Constitutional Court that Edgar Lungu is not eligible to contest the 2026 elections, and obviously members of the public have been giving their 2 cents, so from different sides of the spectrum, so both from the ruling government and the opposition, civil society, pretty much the entire nation. So it seems like the eligibility case conversation is still dominating the public discourse in the nation. So the Patriotic Front put up this post, say judgment made for TV. So ZNBC provided Honorable Justice Arnold Mwetwa Shilimi, Deputy President of the Constitutional Court, with a teleprompter. They also did a dry run, they allege. So then they take a picture of some of the equipment that was used during the live broadcast of the ruling there. So you can see different sides of the spectrum giving their view. And then President Hakainde Hichilema says this, as reported by Kalemba just 6 minutes ago. Even if you are sworn in, and after a day you die, it's a term, Hichilema. So President Hakainde Hichilema has described Tuesday's judgment on the eligibility of the former President Edgar Lungu as excellent, relating it to how public-private dialogue forum PPD should operate with the intent of clarity, he says. So you're simply giving his 2 cents there, saying even if you're just sworn in today and you die tomorrow, that counts as a term, according to the president, as reported by Kalemba there. So that's a statement attributed to the president. What is given Luwinda, as reported by Phoenix FM, said, given Luwinda rubbishes score by some PF members of parliament for Edgar Lungu to resign from active politics following Concord judgment. Patriotic Front Vice President Given Luwinda has rubbished cause by some party members of parliament who are calling for former President Edgar Lungu to completely resign from active politics following the Constitutional Court ruling, which has barred him from contesting future elections. So Given Luwinda has given his 2 cents there with regard to that. Mr. Luwinda told Phoenix FM that MP's sentiments represent a minority opinion and do not reflect a collective stance of the former ruling party. He explains that most of these MPs who are calling for Mr. Lungu's resignation are inactive members of the Patriotic Front who have distanced themselves from the party for over 2 years now. Mr. Luwinda adds that 2 Patriotic Front members are identified by their participation in party activities and align with the views of the majority. A section of PF members of parliament have called for Mr. Lungu to completely retire from active politics and assume the role of a true statesman to support the incumbent government in delivering development to the people of Zambia. Meanwhile, governance activist Isaac Mwasa says Mr. Lungu's plan to contest the 2026 general elections using Plan B, despite being declared ineligible by the Constitutional Court, is impossible unless the former head of state challenges the court's decision again and receives an outcome that declares him eligible. So you can see that that conversation is still going on. And then the Patriotic Front also says the Constitutional Court is a court of first and final instance. It has no powers to review its own decision. Tonse Grand Alliance, so that's part of an extract that was given by the Tonse Alliance, who have chosen Edgar Lungu to be their presidential candidate in 2026. So they held a press briefing. That's where that extract was taken from. And then obviously, Players might also had a press briefing saying the stance of government, which has been reported by the Patriotic Front. They took some extracts from that. We are afraid of Plan B, Cornelius Mweta says, according to the PF there. Obviously, they must have sourced up that particular report, but and then they go further. Government has advised President Lungu to ensure that Plan B is within the confines of the law. At a media briefing in Lusaka today, Minister of Information and Media and Chief Government spokesperson Cornelius Mweta MP indicated that government will continue monitoring events emanating from the Plan B. So he says, I really remember, Plan B seems to be trending based off that statement that Edgar Lungu had given after the verdict. And then they highlight a number of things that had talked about. And then Kalemba alleged to say this was in the Tonse Alliance group. So they say in a WhatsApp group, that's where this message came in. Mwanga MM say, good morning, everyone. My candidate for Patriotic Front Family. My candidate for Patriotic Front Family, my view concerning the eligibility of our Edgar Chagwa Lungu, Dr. Chitali Shufia, can make a good president appointed by Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and then Edgar Chagwa Lungu should be running mate. This combination is boom, tower poker. So they allege this WhatsApp group shared that particular conversation where they are saying they should float Shufia as the presidential candidate and then Edgar Lungu as the running mate. I doubt even being a running mate is still open for Edgar Lungu, because I believe a running mate should be eligible to be president, because let's take, for instance, something happens to a sitting head of state. It's a running mate that picks up that mantle. So I doubt even being a running mate is open as things stand based off that verdict that was given by the Constitutional Court. And then the Tonse Alliance insists that former President Edgar Lungu remains its presidential candidate for the 2026, saying Tuesday's Constitutional Court judgment that rendered him ineligible is now void, according to the press brief that they had reported by Kalemba there. And then they go further to attach a video where Tonse Alliance spiritual leader Reverend Danpur says it is not over. President Lungu will be on the ballot paper in 2026. So they keep on insisting he's still their presidential candidate in that Grand Alliance, and you'll see him on the ballot paper. They say, or they insist. What is Plan B? UPND is panicking, according to the Patriotic Front there. They say the UPND is panicking after hearing that Edgar Lungu has a Plan B. And then the UPND has also responded, it is true that our constitution has a lot of lacunas, as it is not clear to a common man's interpretation, Sunday Chanda. So that's one of the members of parliament that were advocating for Edgar Lungu to go into retirement, pretty much. And then Kalemba say, our Plan B shall deliver Edgar Lungu to State House in 2026, Tonse Alliance. Edgar Lungu is eligible to stand in 2026, and he will be on the ballot. Mark my words, Reverend Danpure there. Pretty much the same statement. UPND President Hakainde Hichilema and his government calls for smart agriculture practices and resilience as the country continues to battle the effects of climate change. Chief Government Spokesperson. Yeah, so this has been in the conversation in the nation. Whilst the defense forces to acquire more land for a irrigated national food production in the northern circuit due to the guaranteed rainfall pattern and water bodies are still attributed to Cornelius Mwetwa. A food reserve agency has contracted 41 commercial farmers to produce more than 145 metric tons of non-GMO white maize by March 2026 under the early maturing program. That's still Cornelius Mwetwa there. And then Joseph Malanji says he will call 20 witnesses, while his co-accused Fedson Yamba has only 3 witnesses to prove their innocence after they were found with a case to answer in the abuse of office of authority cases by the magistrate court. And then Hakainde Hichilema, this to say, as spotted by Kalemba, investors flocking to State House every day. Hichilema promises to revive the economy. President Hakainde Hichilema has assured citizens that government is on the road to reviving the country, as many investors have shown interest in Zambian economy. It's a statement coming from the head of state. What is there was a meeting which was called in, should have been by the UK embassy, where given Winter Wars and then Slav Wars, even Neverspoon was present. And then they just interacted. This is the thing that people talk about. They say politicians would fight online and on media, but in person when they meet, they are very cordial. And then cadres go on and lose their lives and fight. But the reality is that the people at the top do not even engage in physical applications. Anyway, that's the news, ladies and gentlemen. Have a blessed day.